What is up, YouTube, and happy Star Wars Day! We have the continuation of Dave Filoni's world of the Clone Wars, except we are heading into, for me at least, one of two of the most interesting parts of the Star Wars timeline. Just after the Clone Wars, while The Mandalorian is doing a superb job of showing life directly after the original trilogy, something I really hoped that the Disney movies would do, but they decided to go a bit forward there. We won't discuss that too much, but The Bad Batch is showing us life directly after the Clone Wars and showing the rise of not only the Galactic Empire, but the Rebellion, and shows another look at Order 66. I was surprised that the Bad Batch would carry this torch on, as admittedly to me it kind of came out of nowhere they would decide to carry this on, but I really did enjoy them in the final Clone Wars season. But who are this ragtag bunch of clone troopers? Well, they are officially called Clone Force 99 in honour of Clone 99, a clone considered a failure and resigned to maintenance, and, well, he actually gave his life up to save Kamino in a separatist attack. Now, they each have genetic mutations that make them vastly different from their fellow clones and have unique traits, voices, and even looks. They also took on Echo, who of course was a regular trooper and was captured by separatists and turned into a cyborg to be used to work out clones' tactics. You can check out that storyline as well. It is pretty much the start of the final season if you haven't watched it. But what I liked about The Bad Batch is that pretty much you can watch it without having seen anything else, and I think that is pretty cool. We are at an interesting time as the episode matches up closely to the final few episodes of the Clone Wars, as we learn that the war is almost over, as Obi-Wan has gone to take out General Grievous. So it also obviously matches up with Revenge of the Sith, one of my personal favourite Star Wars movies of all time. We have the Bad Batch called in for support by Padawan Caleb. They are usually known for their off-script fighting and unconventional ways to follow orders, which they do here, and the action is stunning as always, with Filoni's animation, and his shows, including The Mandalorian, now have carved out somewhat of a safe haven for us true Star Wars fans. The Disney trilogy, you know what, I enjoyed it apart from Last Jedi. That was an abomination, but I actually kind of had a soft spot for Force Awakens and Skywalker, but objectively they are pretty bad Star Wars properties. But this crew, they save the day as Order 66 is enacted, and we see Deepa Billaba, sorry if I pronounced that name incorrectly, and she's killed, who was actually on the Jedi High Council, but would later take Caleb as a Padawan after the bombing of the Jedi Temple. Caleb is, of course, Kanan Jarrus, a superb Jedi who escaped and would be later seen in Star Wars Rebels. And while in the comic he had a similar escape, here it's retconned a slightly tiny bit as he is chased by the Bad Batch and they are confused by Order 66, but they actually let him go, much to, of course, Crosshair's dismay. The Bad Batch, as we found out, have mutations which cause their programming to not work, as well as the regs. So while Crosshair is still loyal, as Tarkin found out, they don't explicitly follow Order 66, as the chip in their head doesn't force them to follow suit. Echo is also immune to him being captured and experimented on. If you haven't seen all of the Clone Wars, he has a fantastic story, and it is something which I think every Star Wars fan really needs to see, as it seems like it's going to be the template for Star Wars moving forward. However, the squad returned to Kamino, the home of the clones, to learn the war is over, it's done, and they have a chilling talk from Palpatine, who says, yes, I survived the rebellion by the Jedis, but it's left me disfigured. And it's evident they are not long for this world, considering everyone is now fully loyal to the Emperor, but they spot Omega. Now, Omega is a weird one, as we learn there are 5 genetically defective clones, which is presumed to be the Bad Batch, except Echo joined them later instead of going back to the 501st, so Omega is the 5th Bad Batchian. While a clone, she has clearly been heavily customized and can feel empathy, knowing exactly how Crosshair feels while they're in the jail cell, and has perfect aiming. While she escapes, it might just be the Kamino cloners trying to create a Force-sensitive clone, which would easily fit in with the rest of the wider Mandalorian story. It would also be an attempt to them trying to prove some worth, as clone troopers are now kind of redundant in Tarkin's eyes, and this could be the start of the Mandalorian Grogu story we saw, and we could learn more about that. Perhaps, maybe. That's all speculation and just theory in my eyes, while I do hope it's true. The Bad Batch's futures and their clones are also hanging in the balance as Tarkin has arrived to slowly phase out the clone troopers. It's a piece of Star Wars lore I always hope to see, and it's pretty neat, and I laughed when the Kamino president was like, wait, you've got a contract with us, what are you doing? And Tarkin's like, nah, we declared bankrupt, like we're a new company now. As he tests the troopers, and he has a keen interest in the Bad Batch after testing them with live ammo, and sends them off to kill some separatists, as he says separatists, not droids. And we see some civilians who have escaped the brutality of the newly formed Empire. Now, if Kanan was a surprise, then Saw was even more of a surprise. Of course, he is here as a freedom fighter, and he returns from his early days of the Resistance. In Rebels, he did start to clash with the leader Mon Mothma over the Resistance tactics, and by his appearance and death in Rogue One, he was outcast from the Rebel Alliance, but really doing some hardcore stuff. It's here that the Bad Batch start to fall foul of the new Empire, having been watched by the Empire, and Crosshair is doubting Hunter after he let Kanan go and allowed Saw and friends to live. Now, after this, they're held captive as Crosshair is taken to have his inhibitor chip cranked right up to 11, as Omega joins them, which I quite liked. In Clone Wars, we did have the young Asoka debut and grow into a firm fan favourite. In Rebels, we had Ezra Bridger, who grew significantly, and here Omega is part of this ragtag crew after they escape and fight Crosshairs, who will no doubt be chasing them across the galaxy. We have 16 episodes, and it's going to be a fun ride and an emotional one, as Echo will no doubt need to learn about Five's death at the end of the Clone Wars. He was his best friend and battle brother, as Hunter and crew set course for J-19. Well, J-19 is where a clone trooper deserter called Cut is. So it's going to be big, as I expect Omega is also key. And I do think that her mutation could be actually some sort of Force-sensitive nature. But we're going to go forward, and I'd expect the Bad Batch to cut out some really, really good stuff moving forward. But let me know what you think down below. Please do drop a like. Please do subscribe with notifications if you want more from us. And do have an awesome rest of your Star Wars day. And may the Force be with you. Goodbye.